Everybody, it's another episode of the pre-show with your host, Alan the Intern. And today's guest, we got TSN's Aaron Broadstetter. Okay, everybody, my name's Alan the Intern, and I'm here with TSN's Aaron Broadstetter. How's it going today, man?
I'm good, Alan. Hey, thank you for having me on.
There's a lot of fights that are coming up. Do you have anyone in particular for MMA that you're really looking forward to?
I think there are a lot of really good ones coming up, and you look down the divisions. They haven't really booked Francis Ngannou versus Lewis yet, but that's a really good one. I'm really excited for the McGregor and Poirier rematch, the trilogy fight. I think that's going to be an interesting one because it's going to determine how the dominoes fall in the lightweight division. I think the lightweight division is the most interesting division in the UFC and has been for some time. So those are the ones that I'm really looking closely at, that I'm eager to see what happens. I love the Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira fight. The idea that Glover Teixeira in his 40s might become the champion after really, kind of chipping away all these years is really cool to see.
To be a really good fighter, you need to have good striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So if you had a chance to make a original fighter with good striking, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling, who would it be? For example, I would pick GSP for wrestling, Masvidal for striking, and jiu-jitsu, Royce Gracie. Who would be your ultimate fighter?
For wrestling, I choose Ben Askren. I always thought that his wrestling got him to become a champion in promotions like Bellator, won championship, just solely based on how good he was as a wrestler. So if you had that in your back pocket and your striking was even a little bit better than Ben's, I think that's a good start. In terms of striking, well, I'm going to build a heavyweight. I'm going to go with Francis Ngannou striking. It might not be the most beautiful striking out there, but in terms of just the sheer power, you can't teach that. So if you have Ben Askren's wrestling and the striking of Francis Ngannou, you're already doing pretty well. And then when it comes to grappling, I would use Charles Oliveira. I think that the way that he's adapted jiu-jitsu to mixed martial arts is the most effective way that anybody has to date. We see it now with him being the champion in the lightweight division. So that would be my build-a-fighter, so to speak. And I mean, if you can do jiu-jitsu like Charles Oliveira in the heavyweight division, you'll tap everybody out in seconds. So that's my build-a-fighter is you take all of those traits, you put them into a big heavyweight, and you just go from there.
Wow, this interview with Aaron Broadstetter is going fantastic. But first, let's take a quick commercial break. And after the break, we'll get to the rest of the interview.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
What do you think about Masvidal versus Nick Diaz, avenging his brother's loss for the BMF title? Do you think that would be a good kind of fight, or kind of just let him?
I don't know about this whole Nick Diaz thing. I mean, the last time that guy won a fight was, I think, 10 years ago. I think this year is going to be the 10-year anniversary of his last win.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I hate the idea of putting him up against somebody as good as Masvidal this early. I think you have to see what this guy has to offer. You put him up against one of the older, like a Matt Brown or somebody that's older, and just see what he has left before we start making these fights with him against top guys. I mean, I know that you're going to want to put him against somebody marketable and you want to, make the most of his comeback, but I just think you're putting him in a major position to fail if you're going to put him in there against a guy like as good as Masvidal.
Fair enough.
But hey, I mean, if they offer the fight to Masvidal, I think that's a good opportunity for Masvidal. I think that, that's up to the UFC on what they want to do with Nick Diaz. But if they call Masvidal's people and they say, hey, we want you to fight Nick Diaz, I mean, the answer should be yes. That to me is a fight that would get Jorge Masvidal off the couch.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would think that'd be a really good fight. Going back into more of a fantasy kind of thing, what would be your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters? If you got to pick 4 guys of all time, and etc., like who would you choose to be on your Mount Rushmore?
Okay, if we're just talking just fighters, John Jones, GSP, Khabib, and Anderson Silva, I think would be my 4. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody obvious, but off the top of my head, that would be my Mount Rushmore.
Fair enough. Does Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey have anything kind of thing do they have any consideration?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what Ronda Rousey did was unbelievable at the time. I think people forget because of those 2 losses that she ended her career on and how she handled those losses. I think people forget just how good she was and what she was doing to everybody. She was must-watch TV. And I mean, I think Conor really helped put the UFC on the map. I think in terms of what he did for the sport, you certainly would consider putting him on Mount Rushmore. And not to mention the way that he beat Jose Aldo. People forget that at the time, Jose Aldo was considered among the top pound for pound guys in the sport. And he beat him in 13 seconds, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think that if you were going to take anybody that I mentioned off, it would probably be Anderson Silva, maybe Khabib. I don't think Khabib has the greatest resume. I just think that the way that he beat people was so dominant and that undefeated record is very difficult to retire with. My 2 people I would have to have on there are John Jones and GSP. And then everything else is kind of gravy. I think that you can make a short list of 4 or 5 people after them that you could put on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because those are pretty.
Even Chuck Liddell you could mention. I think Chuck Liddell, if you're going to talk about Conor, talk about Chuck Liddell as well. Former champion, a guy that really put the UFC on the map as well.
That's also true. Going for the next thing, because I'm thinking about one guy. I always like watching Donald Cerrone fights. He's unfortunately been on kind of a losing streak. Do you still see him being in the UFC, or do you think he'll go to Bellator or one? What do you think's next for the Cowboy?
I think he'll do one more fight in the UFC and they'll go back to the drawing board after that. I think if he loses, he'll be done with the UFC. And the UFC will probably release him. He seems like he's been a really good company guy for all these years, and that's something that the UFC would do. But I think that's what we have to see. Let's see how he looks in his next fight. I think Dana White has come out and said he's going to give Cowboy one more fight at 155 pounds, and we'll see how he looks.
But you did a lot. You interviewed everybody from Dana White to GSP to Cormier, etc. Do you have a favorite interview out of all of them? It's I know it's not picking your favorite kid, but
a favorite interview subject?
Yeah, favorite. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Dana White for sure. It's not a hard question for me to answer. When I'm interviewing Dana, I always try to rise to the occasion. It's I find this to be a real challenge. You have to really know the nuances of interviewing him and trying to get the best out of him on any given day. He's the person that I always will enjoy interviewing the most. I don't even have another answer for you. That's how much I enjoy interviewing him.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or like to plug in for our viewers from the RP show to know about?
Check out the TSN MMA show. It's our podcast for MMA at TSN. And all of our interviews are on tsn.ca/UFC. Ultimate Fighters airing on TSN. All the events air on TSN. So if you're listening to this and you've made it to the end of this interview, you probably know all this stuff. But either way, I'll give it a plug. I appreciate you having me on, Alan. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and I'd be happy to do it again whenever.
Oh, that sounds great, man. Thanks again for doing this interview. It's been quite a pleasure, man. I would like to thank my interview for today, Aaron Broadcenter, for having a great interview. Now it's time for the main event. It is the Rod Pedersen Show. So this is Alan the Intern signing off. Enjoy the show, y'all.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da! How about that?
We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal. in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
There we are. Yeah, I think we're good.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Tuesday, everybody. How's your day going? Welcome to the RP Show, episode number 516 of Canada's daytime sports talk show, and we are in the air, taking flight. RP here, Moose there, world's fastest grounds crew, pit crew on the other side of this wall. You guys tell me if my earpiece is coming through. I'm still figuring this thing out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all the people that have sent in waves of suggestions where I can get the absolute ideal earpiece. But aside from me looking like one of those middle-aged dorks that walks around with the ear things, it works.
And we know we're both squirrels, so that's why we have to talk business on the air sometimes, because otherwise we'll forget.
Exactly.
Don't forget to pack your headphone.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget to pack it.
To go to Montreal.
Yes.
Right. It is episode number 516. We do have some breaking news that Clark, he seems to be the most excited guy in the world about the Blue Jays trade this morning. So we'll get to that. Okay, I did not have it in my quick six show topics, but it is coming up. I just want to, if wherever you're watching from this morning, folks, YouTube, Facebook, even on Game Plus, which I think the phone's plugged in your office, now that I think about it.
Always.
We will get to that. Where are you watching from? Kent Ridley writing in from Ridley Scouting. He's a football guy. He says, good morning, y'all, from Nashville. Ryan McCarthy, good day to my friends across North America, as well as Mexico, Norway, Qatar, and Sweden. From sultry and humid Saratoga, New York. So, hey, let's get it going here. Let's get some positivity going. Where you're watching from today and how your day is going. I'm excited at the guest list today. Leah Hextall will be with us. What am I saying? ESPN for her, Clark? We'll ask her about that because she's been everywhere. NHL Network for sure. And I'll be honest, I always felt so bad because when I was calling games in the Brandon Keystone Center, she was right. She was closer to me than you are right now, wow. Leah Hextall. And I'm so loud. I'm sure her skin will crawl when she hears my voice again. I'm looking forward to that. However, she'll be calling NHL games on ESPN next year. Ryan Flaherty, he's the television voice of the Saskatchewan Rush. He's from Global Saskatoon. He covered the big Rattlers game last night at SaskTel Center. Ryan Flaherty will be with us in hour two, as well as Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots. That's all I'm going to say. When I was off for that week at attending the Recovery Coach Academy, you had Dan Moriarty on, and quite frankly, I was jealous because you said that you really loved that interview. Hey?
Oh, yeah. And I connected with him once before, but, this is the second time on this show, and I'm really excited to see where that relationship goes, and another ally to the RP show.
I got it. Grand Prairie, Alberta. Kyle Lanley checks in from Williams and Lloydminster. The Snowmans in Carolina. Wayne in sunny and hot Victoria. I'll be honest. We stick to sports here, right?
Yeah.
We shut up and dribble for the most part. But I could sit and talk about climate change for a couple hours. Hottest day in Canadian history was yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm here for it.
Me too.
Yeah, you're good with it?
Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
So, Texas had the cold last year, and that was bad for them. But I didn't hear, if I missed it, I didn't hear of anybody dying in Canada from heat yesterday. Did anybody?
Well, probably. But I didn't hear of it either.
No.
The pro-climate people who believe in the climate change, which I think is good. I do. I think we're moving that way. Well, whatever. They flipped it. Everyone's like, it's the hottest summer. And they flipped it and said, yeah, but it's the coldest summer for the rest of your life. Because it's only going to get hotter.
Yeah, fair. I like this one. Watching from scorching Cochrane, Alberta. John Ohm in Winnipeg. Ohm says, stay cool. My mom has no air conditioning. Take care of that lady. Make sure she's hydrated. Let's just enjoy the summer and let's quit dilly-dallying around and get into the quick six show topics, please. Thanks for being patient. Can you hit that? Please and thank you. Well, number one, I will go with the breaking news first from your Toronto Blue Jays. They've acquired injured outfielder Corey Dickerson and reliever Adam Simber in a trade today with the Miami Marlins. Going the other way, infielder Joe Panik and minor league reliever Andrew McInvale. Clark, is this going to make Ross Stripling happy?
Maybe I'll ask him.
Too soon? Dickerson is sidelined with a bruised left foot and is expected to be in a walking boot for at least 2 more weeks. He's batting .260 with 2 homers and 14 RBI. The side-winding Simber has a 2.88 ERA in 33 games. And Joe Panik, what's your favorite Joe Panik Blue Jay moment? I think it's the Ross Stripling set two they had.
Yeah.
Panik is batting .246 with 2 homers and 11 RBIs. So I get it now. I get it. Like, I'm not the biggest baseball guy, right? I am fluent in Canada's 2 official languages, hockey and football. But I do dabble in baseball. So when I was watching the Marlins and Blue Jays last week, that guy that was Dan Quisenberry style, before your time, but
Yep.
that sidearm, that's who the Jays got? I like him. I think we're declaring the Blue Jays have won this trade today.
How about that?
I love a good sidearm delivery, too.
Down below his knee.
Oh, yeah. I just think that would be so hard coming in.
I was watching that game.
They got a little whip to it.
Jennifer, watching from the Four Seasons, your home of the Seattle Kraken fan club, where I was last night. She says, the coffee's hot and the pool is almost full. Hot week this week. I feel like everybody's in a good mood with the weather. What are people bitching about? Climate change.
I know.
It's hot. We love it. Anyways, so that's the breaking news from the Blue Jays. Number 1. Okay, I was kind of trying to avoid this. Tampa Bay had their way with the Montreal Canadiens last night in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. And although Jeff Petrie said after the game it was closer than the score indicated, no, it wasn't. The shots were 27-19 for Tampa Bay. They were in control from the drop of the puck. And our poll question today is, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, is the Stanley Cup Final over? Last I looked on Twitter, 80% of you people saying, no, it's not over. 80%. And it's looking at least that. We're on the small screen there. No, it's not over. Well, it's evening out a little bit. 65% now on Twitter saying, no, it's Stanley Cup Finals not over. But, 94% saying, no, it's not over. But, hey, the Montreal Canadiens realize they're not in Kansas anymore. Tampa Bay's not going to make mistakes like Vegas did. Sorry. Tampa Bay's not going to play lifeless like the Toronto Maple Leafs did. They got a tiger by the tail there. They're playing the best team that they've faced in these Stanley Cup playoffs. So they better smell the smelling salts and wake up for Wednesday's game too. But I like what Luke Richardson said after the game. And he said, the good news is we didn't play our best game. And I'm starting to realize people don't understand coach speak. What that means is we didn't play our best game. We can be better. If we played our best game and got our asses handed to us, I'd be a little worried sitting here right now.
Don't have any answers.
Right, but we got answers. We can be better. And they will be, so this series is not over. What did you think?
Yeah, and it's Game 1, so you got to get that awakening, and then Montreal will settle in. But here's the difference for me, and this is why Tampa scares me. You look at Toronto, you look at Montreal. Well, during the regular season, there's no threat of being eliminated, so you play a free game, right? And there's a little more open, more penalties, more goals, all that type of thing. But when you get in the playoffs, Montreal has changed the game plan. They've really locked it down to this real defensive game, take their advantage of their opportunities. And Toronto couldn't adjust. The Leafs couldn't adjust. And their stars couldn't bear down and figure out how to work through that when the game completely changes.
Yep.
Winnipeg couldn't adjust either. And it was over, that shutdown, they couldn't figure it out. Well, neither could Vegas. When it got shut down, Vegas completely couldn't change and find that identity. But Tampa's been through this before. They've played these types of games, and in their run, they figured out how to play and how to adjust their game to have success when the other team tries to lock it down. So they've been there before. So when Montreal goes to lock it down and play their real tight, solid defense, Tampa's been there, done that, and so they were very comfortable. See if Montreal can adjust in Game 2.
Oh, yeah. Homie, don't play that game. Montreal's in a series, but that's what happened with Vegas and Colorado. They got smacked around in Game 1. So, no, this series isn't over. It was just a cheeky question to see if anybody fell for it, and 6% did.
Yeah.
Rob Somerville watching on Facebook. Interested to hear your thoughts about the upcoming CFL season. Are you expecting more veteran players to retire before training camps open. Yeah. But this is the quick six. This is our time. We can't necessarily answer your questions just yet, but I'll get to that. It's like you were reading my diary, Rob. Number 2, show topic, Brendan Labatt. I guess the Riders announced it yesterday. I assume they were told long before Monday that Brendan Labatt won't play this year. And for those that don't know, former Canadian Football League Offensive Lineman of the Year. He's an NFL-worthy talent, 6-time All-Star, best player on the Saskatchewan Roughriders offensive line, said, I'm out. So for this year, he goes, I plan to be back in 2022. Reason being, from what I'm told, doesn't like the COVID restrictions. Not interested in complying with the ridiculously excessive restrictions that's being placed on the CFL. I don't blame him. The gentleman asked, will there be more? I hear there's going to be one maybe as early as today from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, big name player. And the person that texted me that, Darren, I said to them, well, I said, is that big name? Big loss? He goes, at this stage of the game, they're all big losses. Right?
Yeah.
There was an interesting comment by him. So we're a couple weeks away from the start in training camp, and you got some of your best players, a 6-time All-Star, saying, boop, I'm out.
Well, you think you've got a plan. And
right.
As a coach, you've got your depth charts on the boards, and that's why they're all there in magnets, right? So you can move them around. But that's it. I mean, you're trying to map this in and come up with a plan, and you're talking to your general manager about, are we good? Are we good? Do we got to sign anybody? Because if we don't, Toronto's going to sign them. And then this happens. It changes because you've got great weapons in Saskatchewan, but if you don't have an offensive line to protect them, then they're not very effective.
And people are really jumping in on this. Jeff, the Stampeders fans up in Calgary, he says, we'll really see what the current Saskatchewan management is made of. That offensive line could be in trouble. That's what everybody's saying right now. So the general manager, Jeremy O'Day's just been lobbed a grenade. And speaking of that, John in Winnipeg says, I'm disappointed in Labatt, but respect his choice. I'm going to speak for Big Blue, pretty good friend of mine. He doesn't care what you think. And at some point, people are going to realize COVID-19, hashtag sucks to be you. We're all in it together, right? No, looking out for number 1. Start paying attention. That's what Brendan Labatt's doing. He's looking out for his family. He said, I'm out. This is not for me. And there's going to be more. Training camp isn't for 2 weeks.
I know.
So there's going to be way more. So you are, no, William in Lloydminster. It isn't looking good for the CFL. No, it ain't. Tony Cernick watching in the energy capital right now says, good job, Blue. You're my boy, Blue. It's no laughing matter for the Saskatchewan Roughriders or for anybody, but this is... My phone's going off all day, every day with what's going on in the CFL, and I've made this point and stance that I'm like, if the big network guys aren't going to report on this, or the people that are beat writers that are in the Hall of Fame aren't going to report on it, why the hell would I? I got other stuff to talk about. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Players are upset. You're going to see more retirements, but I'm not down with it. I just feel like that's somebody else's job. Because you know what? When I report the truth, what happens? I'm the jerk. And I'm not interested in that anymore. The warm-up, by the way, is brought to you by eCall Electric, your complete electrical distributor with locations in Regina, Estevan, Swift Current, Yorkton, and Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. eCall Electric, let's get to work. Right after coffee. Point 3, Paxton Lynch has signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, former first-round pick, quarterback from the Denver Broncos. He has signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Like I said to Darren, did they not announce that in February? Or did I miss something? This is a me problem, not anybody else problem. But didn't they announce that?
I don't recall.
You don't?
I just know it made the news headlines yesterday. Yeah. It's interesting because he's a real high potential guy, right? You don't go in the first round unless you have high potential, but it just didn't work out in the NFL. Nobody wants to give you a shot because there's always another crop of high potential guys every year in the National Football League. But let's remember something and I was asking why this move just puzzles me like nothing else. And you said, well, better's better, right? That's
why they'd sign him, yeah.
Why they'd sign him, better's better. But he's not just an old quarterback who's looking for a last shot in the CFL. He's young. Like, he was a first-round pick in 2016. So he'd be just in his prime or entering his prime, as a quarterback with lots of years left. And he's not coming up here to hold the clipboard, I don't imagine. So are we going to see a quarterback controversy if Cody stumbles a little bit? I don't want to talk about that, but
yeah.
Interesting.
See, John in Winnipeg, I'm interested that with his attitude that he's brought this morning. He says, oh, come on, man, stop with the negative. Let's go, CFL. That's right, let's go. We're playing. Everything's awesome. It's great. Let's go. No problems whatsoever with this league right now. And Wayne in Victoria says, I'm sure a majority of players are vaccinated as well. Yep. And there's a tooth fairy and a Santa Claus too, Wayne.
How about that?
You know that, right? Point 4. Wimbledon's playing, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Point 5. CEBL action. Just pointing this out last night, the Hamilton Honey Badgers squeaked past the Saskatchewan Rattlers 73-71 at SaskTel Center. And Ottawa got off the snide. They topped Guelph 96-79. So we're following the CEBL. And point 6, Euro 2020. I should never have said that I'm paying attention because Denmark's kicking ass and taking names now.
Oh, yeah.
And all the soccer people are like, are you interested? Only in Denmark. That's it.
Box scores. Like, they want to watch the game with you now.
Yeah. Okay. Officially announced this morning, Leah Hextall of ESPN. She'll be calling the play-by-play. They just announced it this morning. And she joins us after this break. This has been the warm-up for ECOL Electric. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel. Offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFC Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalfordlincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Big day here because it's Tuesday. Episode number 516 of Canada's daytime sports talk show is on the air. We may look at changing that tagline, however, because I think our viewership has surpassed 50%. More than 50% is American now.
It's a lot.
I don't get it. But I don't have a problem with it either. I don't know why you, I don't see what you see in us, but I've accepted it. Leah Hextall joining us from ESPN momentarily. Just this morning, she was announced as a play-by-play voice for the ESPN's NHL coverage next year, which is great. People here this morning want to talk about a lot of the NHL stuff. CFL stuff, too. Jeff the Stamps fan says it's safe to engrave the T, the A, and the M on the cup. Hamilton? How generous of him to anoint Hamilton as the Grey Cup champions this year. From Ray in the 6, Prairie Mobile text line. Hi, Rod. So fed up with the CFL circus. It's one step forward and 2 to 3 steps back. Positive news will be an NFL training camp excitement by the time the CFL may or may not play. Really sad state of affairs. That's from Ray in the 6. From Metal Shingle Guy regarding Saskatchewan signing Paxton Lynch at quarterback. Metal Shingle Guy says, Isaac Harker has a rifle. No controversy. He's the number 2 guy. Wasn't it you that said this morning, what about Hart Jardo?
Yeah.
Wasn't that going to be a thing?
Should be.
Isaac Harker and Cody Fajardo?
Isaac Harker's done nothing to lose his job.
Yeah. Just to talk a little CFL stuff here across the country. From DG, watching in Saskatoon. Morning, guys. Hope your week is going well and that your collarbone is in better shape than Carey Price's. To me, that is the story of the Stanley Cup. Price did not look 100% last night. And just a reminder, don't shoot at your goalie's head in warm-ups. What are you doing, Weber? From DG in Saskatoon. It's so funny that he would say that. And you please tell me, Clark, the second that Leah's ready, since she's having some connection issues there. Reminds me of a goalie, he won't mind me saying this, that I coached in the mental health game. And his deal was that he was coming back from concussions and he'd lost his confidence. And I said to him, how did you get a concussion? Because none of the scouts that I saw that watched you play said you never took a big hit off your noggin. He goes, it was from repeated shots to the head from pucks in practice and warm-up.
Wow.
Gave him a concussion. And he was on the IL for a while. And then he came back and he's like, I lost my confidence. I'm not the same guy. I called the coach. I said, can you tell your guys to keep their shots down? Like, in whatever year it was, I'm like, in 2019, we have to have this discussion?
That's elementary stuff. You get beat up in practice when you hit the goalie in the head. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that starts inter-scrimmage fights, right?
Well, I know. And there's a longer story to that, but anyways, I didn't realize that Weber pinged off Carey Price. And that's a wow. Anyways, we'll get to more of these comments in a moment because we have Leah Hextall now. And it's been a day or two since we've chatted, but we used to spend a lot of time around each other, WHL days. Now she's up there next to God, voice of the NHL on ESPN. And we just lost her, Clark has just said. What's going on? Have they dropped a bomb on the internet in Manitoba? I can sit here and continue.
The one thread of internet signal.
Well, and by the way, Takona Powley is watching in Winnipeg, and he says, hit the like button, a la Boom Boom Jeffrion. And speaking of that, I was dealing with some NHL scouts with regards to my player that I was coaching in the mental health game, and they had asked why he was missing some time. And I said, well, he's got concussions because he took too many shots to the head. I was starting to get wound up. And this scout, he's the kind... You've seen him in the media room, like my dad's vintage, fedora, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cardigan sweater.
Salt of the earth.
Notepad. Wouldn't want to use a Stylex or an iPhone when a notepad will work. And he goes, shots to the head. Johnny Bauer never wore a mask. I lost it. And I'm like, Johnny Bauer, this is in the media room. At a Pats game. I said, that's what we're talking about right now? And I'll never forget, one scout put his hand on my arm. He's like, maybe Rod, come over here. I stick up for my guys. But I guess nobody was sticking up for Carey Price last night. You're shooting at his head in the warm-up of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Somebody mentioned rec hockey. But when you do that in a game, I've seen rec hockey goalies walk off the ice in warm-up. And those guys are hard to find.
There was a guy that I was playing at that were with that shot. I'll get to you right away, Leah. They were shooting at my head all the time. And finally I said, you shoot at my head one more time, and I'm going to throw my stick at you. And he goes, like, I can't control it. He came down the wing, right at my head. I helicoptered my stick at him and caught him right there. Warned you. Okay. Leah Hextall, thank you for sitting through that. There she is. How you doing, Leah? Long time no see.
I'm great, Rod. How are you doing? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Everything is fantastic. So, hey, it's a huge day for you because the news that finally came out this morning from ESPN, all the broadcast team, and you're on it. Congratulations. And how you feeling?
Rod, it's a big day. I'm not going to lie, for myself and for ESPN in general. I mean, I never thought when I started my career at CKX in Brandon, Manitoba, that I would be working for the juggernaut, which is ESPN. And you yourself, as a Hall of Fame broadcaster in play-by-play, know how incredibly difficult that position is. So to be getting this opportunity to call the greatest game at the highest level in play-by-play, it truly is something I've been working for very hard for the last few years. And it's a good day. And I love that I'm finally able to speak to it.
You don't need to be humble here today. Not in this house. You soak it all in, and it seems like you are. But I mean, when I say that, it's not just the last few years. I was telling the folks before he came on that I used to call those Pats games, and you were like right here on the other side of the wall of me. Yeah. And I'm so loud, so I apologize for annoying you all night for that. But you were very gracious with that. But I mean, maybe tell the people, let's introduce yourself to the viewers that are watching right now that weren't, like, you're a Manitoba gal, Brandon gal, and you have started at the bottom and you've hit the top. But just tell us a little bit of your story, if you don't mind.
Well, I appreciate that, Rod. And yes, those days at the Keystone Center in Brandon, Manitoba, covering the Brandon Wheat Kings, that was my first gig, working there and covering that beat. And I tell you, and Rod, I know you can speak to this too, I'm so fortunate for starting my days in junior hockey. It really laid the groundwork for everything that I have done since. And I spent a couple of years in Brandon, and then I went on to CTV in Winnipeg and was there for 7 years, and kind of jumped back and forth doing some Sports Center on TSN and some gigs. But got a big break with Nesson in Boston in 2012, and I went down there for a couple of years and then was hired by Sportsnet when they took over the NHL rights in Canada. And unfortunately, that didn't really turn out the way I hoped. After 2 years, they had to do some layoffs due to finances, and I was one of those cuts. And at the time, Rod, we've all felt this in our industry. I couldn't find a job. After 15 years and working at the highest level on the most iconic brand in hockey and Hockey Night in Canada, I couldn't find a job in the industry. So I completely pivoted and went outside of broadcast and actually worked in politics for a few years with the Premier of Manitoba. And during that time, I decided to pivot to play-by-play. And I say that with great humility because it is the hardest thing we can do as broadcasters, in my opinion. And I still have so much to learn, but I started calling games, and a lot of it was what you didn't see. It was traveling out to Manitoba Junior Hockey League games in Selkirk or Neepawa or Portage or wherever it might be, and just calling to an online audience, or going to Moose games here and calling in a booth by myself and just recording it on my phone, trying to get better. So it has been a journey, and I'm really fortunate because, I've had some great people supporting me, but that's been my road. And now starting next fall, I'm going to be a play-by-play in the NHL. Sorry. And that's huge.
Well, listen, I know, but that's why I wanted to tell the whole road, not just the past couple of years, how long that you've been pounding away at this. So that's why when I saw the announcement, which I don't know how it got leaked a few weeks ago that this was coming out, we all kind of knew, right, that you were going to ESPN. Yeah. But I was real happy because, again, we were side by side many, many years ago. I've seen the climb. So I'm very proud of you for that. But it's funny that you would say that play-by-play is the hardest, because Sarah Orlesky and I have had this discussion. I said sidelines is the hardest thing to do. That and probably what I'm doing right now. But I guess we all have our thing, right? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah, we do, and you're so right. And when I say play-by-play, I think maybe right now I have such a linear vision because it's what I'm trying to get better at. So for me, right now, it's the hardest skill. And I should mention with ESPN, I'm also going to be doing rinkside reporting for them as additional duties. So, and I love being rinkside, and I agree with you. Especially in this day and age where in the sport of hockey, where players are so buttoned up, trying to find, those human pieces that can relate to the game and dragging information out of players and trying to bring new storylines in this day of social media and doing it well without, quite frankly, pissing anybody off. It's a very tough thing to do. So, I think rinkside reporting, I've also been a studio host, which I think takes a tremendous amount of skill. You look at people like Ron McLean who just do it so easy, yourself here behind the mic. Radio is a beast. I've done that as well. And there's no fronting in radio. You got to know what you're talking about because you have the time to outline why your opinions are what they are. And you can get caught so easily if you're a poser. So I really believe that, radio might be one of the hardest things to do as well. So, I love it all. But I think right now, just because I'm in that play-by-play lens and I'm trying to get better at it because, quite frankly, I've done less than 20 games on television. I'm still in that state of learning and trying to get better.
Well, and you'll never stop. But, you're probably right. The talk show host thing is probably the hardest because of the time and needing to know your stuff. But the sideline is difficult. And I don't know how Sarah does it because nobody gets mad at her. Everybody else that,
well, I think that's because Sarah has found that really lovely, delicate balance that I just talked about, where they first of all, she's earned their respect. And I think that's the first thing. When a player knows that you're in there to do your job, and specifically as women, we're there to do the job. And that's something that we face throughout time. And you're not looking like as a token anymore, and you're asking good questions, and you take the time to know the people. I think that really all blends into it.
I'm just going to read these comments verbatim, if you don't mind, Leah, from our viewers. Robin Wildy says, Leah, be proud of what you accomplished. Long road from Manitoba to the NHL. Enjoy it. Well, they do have an NHL team, but I get what he's saying. From Todd Pinckney, I'm calling it right now. You have today's Rock Star of the Day and the week. We do Rock Star of the Day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions here. Jaco Richard says, congrats, Leah Hextall from Kenton, Nashville. Leah, been listening for a long time. Big fan. Enjoy those early games. Hope you get sent to Nashville a few times. Brian Eitenauer, congrats, Leah. You'll be fantastic. I can't wait to listen to you. Has that kind of been what your phone's been like here this morning? What's this morning been like for you?
Well, it literally just came out right as I was trying to get through my technical difficulties because I'm, trying to connect. So I just saw it, but my phone is starting as I'm talking to you. I hope you're not getting some beeps because I forgot to turn off my notifications. And I'm getting a few, my agent's on here, and I'm getting a few people, I think, to let me know that it's out. But when the news first came out, when it was reported by the New York Post, I have to say, Rod, I was so almost taken aback at how positive it was. Like people who had never even heard of me, just the fact that, it was a step and it was, a piece of progress and it's a historic hire. And people just seem to be really into it and to having a new voice really in this world of hockey where we have so many incredible voices. But, we do have to start to transition into some new voices. And I hope that one of them is mine. And I'm looking forward to it and sharing my view of the game with everyone.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that because I'm seeing a lot of commentary from viewers and fans of the game saying we need new blood. We need new blood. That's, you're hearing it too, obviously. And the thing is, you know the game. Like, people are writing in here asking if you're related to Ryan Hextall. Like, do you get that? You must every single day, I would think. Yeah.
He started playing, I believe, 87 was his rookie year. And I think I was about 8 years old at the time. And pretty much, especially growing up in Manitoba, because for those who don't know, actually, the one who started it all for our family was my grandfather, who I affectionately refer to as Pops, who is Ryan Hextall. He's a Hall of Famer, played for the New York Rangers, led the scoring race in the NHL for a couple of years, and scored the OT winner against those Toronto Maple Leafs to win the 1940 Cup. So I always like to dig that in. But he was the one who started it. My Uncle Brian, my Uncle Denny played in the NHL. My dad himself won a national title, which would have been the RBC Cup, but it was the Centennial Cup at the time, which is affectionately gone back to now in junior hockey. He won that with the Portage Terriers, so he attended an NHL camp. But and then there's Ron. So we have 3 generations in the game, but I think the one thing, honestly, what I'm the most proud of is that I didn't grow up playing the game. I played shinny on a pond and street hockey. I was a very casual fan. I watched when my cousin played. And when I first started covering the Brown and Wheat Kings, I had to go home after my first game, and I had a stat sheet, and I said to my dad, what does this mean? I didn't even really know what icing was. I didn't know what offside was. I really had to learn the game from the outside in, and it's taken me years and years to do that. So to get to the point now where I can call the game and have such a verbiage of it and understanding of it as someone who didn't play it and had to learn from the outside in, that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of, is that I didn't play, but I'm here standing in and calling it. So, I have the lineage. I have the love that I think is in me genetically for the game, because I do love it for some odd reason. I always have, even though I didn't play. But it is something that I definitely had to learn and continue to learn over the years.
Well, you're being far too humble, because I'll say it again. How long ago was it that we were in the press box in Brandon? 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's almost been 20 years. I'm going to have oh my goodness. It makes me feel like, oh my God, yeah, it's almost been 20 years. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so I was there. I saw the start of it, Leah. You're being far too hard on yourself, I guess. But thanks for telling us your story today. And I know that you're going to have a busy day answering calls and messages and stuff, so I'll let you go. But thanks for fitting us in here. We'll be watching, and congratulations again. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you so much, Rod. I'm right back at you, and have a wonderful and safe summer. Thank you.
Appreciate it. You too, yeah. ESPN's Leah Hextall joining us from Manitoba. How about that?
Unreal.
How about that?
That's a big day right there.
Pretty special.
We will come back with a sports update and a whole lot more. It is Canada's daytime sports talk show, and we'll be right back on the Game Plus television network. Carried all across Manitoba, by the way, on Bell MTS Cable. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rob.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The Moose is literally loose. I let him go. He's going to get a haircut before we go to Montreal. He's all in a tizzy about it. I'm wearing golf shirts and shorts. Is that all right, Montreal? That's my thing. It's summertime. I'm not worried about my hair. Prairie Mobile text line from the 519. Guys, where's 519? Would you mind looking that up? What are area codes 519? Isn't it Quebec? Hey, Rod, can you tell me when you're going to be getting more of those red golf shirts with the show's logo? All they have is smalls right now. He's watching on Game Plus TV. I asked Moose before he left because he handles all that. And he said we're not going to be getting any more. However, go to rodpedersenshop.com in the coming weeks and you'll be able to do direct order. You can pick the color, pick the size with the logo, and they'll print it on the spot. So we're getting out of the inventory game. Right? I'm pointing to the room where all the clothing is, and you can just pick your clothing. They'll make it on the spot and send it to you. That's coming in the next couple of weeks. So I appreciate that we're sold out of those. I apologize that we're sold out of those. Ken in Saskatoon writes, congratulations on your Game Plus gig in Montreal. Listened to the show after work yesterday. It seems like it will be hockey talk and food for several days. Hope you buy the pink drink in bulk. Down 32 lbs on the pink drink. I don't know. I'll be fine. We got more here, but first a sports update. The defending champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, dominated the Montreal Canadiens from start to finish, taking Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final in a lopsided 5-1 contest. Nikita Kucherov led the way with 2 goals. He also had a helper. Game 2 goes Wednesday in Tampa. By the way, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is... Let me bring it up here. And Clark, you're going to have to tell me what the Facebook results are. The question is the Stanley Cup Final over? Because Tampa mollywhopped Montreal. They rolled them. 60% of you saying, no, it's not over. What are they saying there on Facebook? 73% saying no. But the excuses are coming out, huh? Carey Price's collarbones broken or hurt. That's what we're hearing. Shea Weber dinged him in warm-up. I missed that. But we just showed up to the Four Seasons last night to watch, like right at game time. I wasn't watching the pregame coverage, and I didn't see them mention that he took a shot in the collarbone. But That would sure suck if that's true. And if that's the case, maybe the series is over. Paul George scored 41 points, and the resilient LA Clippers staved off elimination by beating the Phoenix Suns 116-102 in Game 5 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. The win cut the Suns' lead in the best-of-7 series to 3-2. We do everything in a team around here, and this morning we were kicking around what the poll question might be or should be. And I said, let's go NBA. Who will win the Larry O'Brien Trophy? The Suns, the Bucks, the Hawks, or the Clippers? Darren's like, are you going to be talking about it? I'm like, no. He's like, then don't. So we went with the Stanley Cup Series question. How much time we got here, Clark? Anytime. Okay, well, hang on. I'm not done. Thanks for that, though. Lindell Wigginton scored 7 of his game-high 20 points in the Elam ending as the Hamilton Honey Badgers squeaked by the Saskatchewan Rattlers 73-71 in CEBL play last night at the SaskTel Centre. That's Canadian Elite Basketball League. Meanwhile, over in Eastern Canada, Cadre Grey led the way for the second straight game as the Ottawa Blackjacks topped the Guelph Nighthawks 96-79 at TD Place in Ottawa. So if you haven't noticed, the CEBL's going. You can watch the games on CBC Gem, Twitch, or Saturday afternoons on the CBC main network. Shohei Ohtani thumped his 26th homer of the year as the LA Angels beat the Yankees 5-3. Ohtani's tied with Toronto slugger Vladdy Guerrero Jr. for the Major League home run lead. The two-way sensation is slated to pitch in Game 2 of the series. Nick Castellano hit a grand slam in the 7th inning and drove in a career-high 7 runs, helping the Reds beat the Phillies 12-4. Kyle Schwarber homered twice, becoming the first player in Major League history to hit 15 home runs in a 17-day span as the Nationals beat the Mets 8-4. This sports update for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Viewer takeover next. I have a feeling that you seem to want to talk a lot of CFL today, and why not? It's summer. And Stanley Cup Final 2. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds full-service car wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept admission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Everything's on the table here in viewer takeover, and Moose is gone. And I still get an infinite kick out of this. Then I was doing my radio talk show, the local radio talk show. I used to be so panicked, and I wouldn't go on the air by myself. Not a chance. And now here I am on Game Plus television around the continent. And I don't even care that I'm alone, because I got you. And producer Clark, if we need him, and I think he's going to poke his head out of his cage next hour and come out here. How about that?
How about that?
But from our viewers, this is what makes it so easy. And listen. From CFL Mel, watching on YouTube. Hey, Rod, do you think Paxton Lynch will challenge Caleros and possibly take over the starting quarterback job? Love your advocacy for the CFL. Thank God we have you. You would think that I would absolutely melt CFL Mel. But I'm not. Paxton Lynch and Zach Caleros don't play on the same team. And by the way, I got Zach Caleros and Cody Fajardo mixed up for a very long time. It's not just you, CFL Mel. But the question is, will Paxton Lynch come in and push Cody Fajardo for the starting job with the Saskatchewan Roughriders? And yeah, they're all going to push Cody Fajardo. Come on, they had 2 years off. Everybody's going to be rusty. So yeah, he's going to come in and push him, but they'll burn the stadium down if Cody Fajardo isn't starting in week 1. Am I right, Clark? Wait, I'll burn the stadium down if Cody Fajardo's not starting in week 1. But Zach Caleros, he'll be starting over there in Winnipeg. But he's only started 4 games. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Dupes went a year between haircuts. Can't he wait?
How about that?
He literally owns the show. He can do whatever the hell he wants. How about that?
How about that?
But this is the thing with the CFL. And I don't know, can you name me any other daytime talk shows that are talking about the Canadian Football League right now as we speak? I'll wait. So you all need to talk about the CFL, pay attention to what's going on. And the guy, Ray, in the 6 wrote last hour about how he's fed up with the CFL and all the bad news that's coming out. For instance, Brendan Labatt announcing he won't play next year, the 6-time All-Star offensive lineman. But you know what? I talked to a coach. I'm probably not going to get to the original 16 Ultra update. We'll do it next hour. I talked to a coach this morning in Texas. That's all I'm going to say. And he said what he's hearing from CFL coaches that they're going to be dealing with stuff that the NFL was dealing with last year. It is what it is. That's just where they're at. And for instance, look at all those players that opted out of the NFL last year. The Patriots were hit the worst, I think, and they ended up missing the playoffs. This is just what Brendan Labatt did, and it was announced Monday that he's not going to play this year, is the 2020 version of Dante Stallworth with the New England Patriots. And any host of players that said, yeah, I'm out. Thing was, those guys got $150,000 US, and Brendan Labatt got a piece of pie, and we'll see you next year. From James Zylstra says, no, that's why I listen to you, Rod. Why? Chris Bird in Toronto says, does Nick Arbuckle have the stuff to start in Toronto, or are we looking at Macbeth as the bona fide starter? That's what training camp's for, because you don't have preseason games. That would be a nice little prop bet right there. Hey, Clark, who starts in quarterback number 1 for the Toronto Argonauts? Nick Fatty Arbuckle or McLeod Bethel Thompson, the guy that we like to call Macbeth? I got to think Macbeth. And I love me some Fatty Arbuckle. It's the veteran thing. From James Zylstra. Great CFL talk here. Yes, and it's the only place you're going to get it. Everybody wants to know how old Brendan Labatt is. I thought I read he was 36. Is he that old? Let's go to the big board. We got time. How old is Brendan Labatt? 34. Thanks, Clark. Be 35 this year. So I was one off. Okay, next hour, Ryan Flaherty, the voice of the Saskatchewan Rush, the TV voice of the Rush. Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots. That's all coming up next hour here on Game Plus Television. Stick around.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da!
How about that?
We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal, in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It absolutely is, and truly flying solo here today. Moose DuPont has left for a haircut. And with that flow, it's going to take a while. And, man, things move fast. And this is why we love talking sports in the daytime here on Game Plus TV, plus the various streaming platforms, is that we've got all kinds of breaking news. Yeah, yesterday it was our news that we're going to Montreal. Today, out of Buffalo, and I'm reading this from tsn.ca, Don Granato is sticking around in Buffalo. The tweets from the Sabres. Donnie's coming back. We have hired Don Granato as the next head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. TSN hockey insider Pierre Lebrun reports it will be a 3-year deal for the 53-year-old. More from Lebrun. Granato served as an interim head coach last year after taking over from Ralph Kruger in March, leading the Sabres to a 9-16-3 record to finish the season. When Granato took over, the Sabres were 6-18-4 and well on their way to missing the playoffs for the 10th season in a row. But remember how good they got near the end of the year? Or at least better? I guess we'll find out if this makes a difference to Mr. Reichel or not, whether he wants to stay in town. But Don Granato, the new head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, just came down this morning. We're talking some CFL stuff, and we'll probably come around to this later more coming up here in hour 2. And incidentally, this is the second half kickoff presented by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Home for the Stanley Cup playoffs, home of the Seattle Kraken fan club. We were there last night with my good friend Jay Red Demba and Pinks. We watched Game 1 of the Stanley Cup final at the Four Seasons. I suggest you get down there if you want to get out of the house and enjoy some hockey. But Ryan Flaherty, the television voice of the Saskatchewan Rush, will be with us. The NLL expansion draft is tomorrow for the new team in Fort Worth, Texas. We'll talk about the Rush's expansion list and who they left off, more importantly. And Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots. That's coming up later. But right now, we're going to do the Original 16 Ultra Update. Are you ready, Clark? Tell me when. Let's go. The Montreal Canadiens have found out they're not in Kansas anymore. They're licking their wounds today after getting spanked 5-1 in Tampa Bay in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final Monday night. Habs defenseman Jeff Petrie said afterwards that the game was closer than the score indicates, but not really. Sure, it was 2-0 Lightning going to the third period, but the defending Stanley Cup champions had control of the entire game and won the shot clock margin 27-19. But overall, it wasn't a great game. That's the way Tampa plays, and they make no apologies for it. Fill-in Montreal coach Luke Richardson said afterwards the positive is that they know they didn't play their best game. What he means by that is they can play much better, and they'll need to in Wednesday's Game 2. It's an impressive stat that the Canadiens have never lost when they score 3 or more goals, and obviously that held true again in Game 1. However, that's as much a testament to their goaltender Carey Price than anything else. And sometimes teams tend to rely too much on their goalies, especially this time of year. And perhaps the Bleu Blanc Rouge was guilty of that Monday night. They weren't the high-flying Habs in Florida. In fact, they were grounded in a lot of ways. They were missing one of their star players, Joel Armia, plus head coach Dominic Ducharme due to COVID protocol. Now the Habs need to stay coronavirus-free down there in the COVID capital over the next 2 days and try to regroup in Game 2. Nobody said this was going to be easy.
How about that?
Original 16 Ultra. Let me tell you something about Original 16. It is an Original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Superior taste with only 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise. I'll take their word for it. Ryan Flaherty is a good friend of ours, television voice of the Saskatchewan Rush, Global Saskatoon. I saw his tweets last night. He was covering the Rattlers' home loss to the Hamilton Honey Badgers. He's just an all-around super dude. Ryan, welcome back to the RP Show, my man.
Hey, Rod. Thanks for having me. It's been a while. Glad to be back.
Yes, it has been far too long. I'm missing my road trips up there to the Bridge City. But we got a lot to go through, man. And if you don't mind, Ryan, before we get to the Rattlers game, which you covered last night, and all the rest and a little CEBL talk. The expansion drafts tomorrow for the Panther City Lacrosse Club. And just like NHL teams, the Rush announced their protected list a while back, like last week or the week before, but they don't put on who they didn't protect. So please give me the ins and outs of what the Rush Nation's looking at for this NLL expansion draft tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little different when you're talking NLL expansion draft because there are definitely mock drafts and things out there, but it's not like there's 30 different Rush fan blogs that are all digging in, micro-analyzing the names on and names off. So sometimes the information is not exactly as apparent. But yeah, it's actually this evening, in fact, the draft, 7 ET, 5 local here in Saskatchewan. So I'm gearing up to see what happens. I don't think there's going to be a big surprise when it comes to the Rush, but you're talking about who's not protected. A couple of notable names, but I think it's important for people to remember that free agency plays a big part in this. And of course, free agency doesn't open until August 1st. So there are some guys that are strategically left off the protected list because they're UFAs. And, it'd be a big risk for Panther City Lacrosse Club to select them because there's no guarantee they could sign them. So, you see name like Jeff Shatler and Jeremy Thompson, Evan Kirk, all those guys are unprotected, but they're also all UFAs. So the likelihood that they're going to be selected is pretty low. That being said, in 2018, when the San Diego Seals joined the league, they got, and the Philadelphia Wings, in fact, the Rush actually lost 2 players and both went to San Diego. There were some sort of side deals made. So they didn't have a player selected by Philadelphia. But one of the players that went to San Diego was a UFA in Brett Midsky. And they ended up trading 4 draft picks to get him back like 10 days later. And then he actually signed with Vancouver one season after that. So they paid a steep price to get a guy back. So no guarantees that a guy like Kirk might be selected. Who knows if Panther City wants to take a gamble. But I think the guy that most lacrosse people are looking at as the likely selection off the Rush roster is Graham Hossack, defender. Big young stud, still, got a lot of teams can have a lot of control over his rights because he's not at UFA status yet. And he's a very talented guy, but the Rush also have some young defenders in the pipeline. So we'll see. Then again, could Derek Keenan reacquire him if he's selected? That's also a possibility.
I appreciate the NLL talk, and I could spend this whole segment on that. And I got a few more questions on that. I apologize that I thought it was tomorrow morning, so it's tonight. It gives me something else to watch tonight. Yeah. Good. You know how it is. A million emails going in and out of this cranium with a million different sports, but it's exciting. It's good because we got some actual action going on here. And you mentioned Evan Kirk. Make him work. I really miss Rush games. But before we go any further down that, is there a website or somewhere that we can go and NLL fans to preview this expansion draft tonight? Who's protected, who's not? Is there any coverage on that you could point out?
Yeah, absolutely. The NLL's website has all the different team protected lists up there. So you can take a look at who's on, who's not on, although, you're going to have to look at the full roster and compare to the protected list. There's a couple of previews. The draft itself is going to be streamed on, I believe, on YouTube. There's a link on the NLL site as well, hosted by Devin Caney with League. And there's a couple of previews. In fact, Marissa and Jemmy, who has done a lot of writing for the NHL in the past, she's now writing for the NLL as well. So she has a bit of a preview as well on the NLL site. So that's there's some resources there. And of course, the Rush have, their protected list and some info about that as well on saskrush.com.
Just going to read a couple comments from viewers. EGA watching on YouTube says, "Hi, Mr. Pedersen. Did Health Canada improve the 2021 CFL return to play?" Not yet. I would think, Ryan, if they had, we'd know about it, right? As far as we know, they have not. From Sean in Vancouver, great show today, Roddy. Will the Montreal shows be on Game Plus at the same time, Thursday and Friday? Can't wait to see you guys in Quebec. Get Trudeau on the show. LOL. Well, hard no on that one. No JT coming on this show. But yes, noon Eastern, Thursday, Friday, live from downtown Montreal. We'll be doing the show. But back to Ryan Flaherty. Before I talk about the Canadian Elite Basketball League, how do you think the NLL is going to come back from the pandemic, Ryan? Because this hasn't been good for.
No, it's been really rough. I mean, you talk about the timing of everything, and when everything got shut down, they were mid-season, so they lost the entirety of the rest of the 2020 season. They've lost basically the 2021 season, and now we're looking at 2022. So by the time they get back on the floor, it will have been roughly 20 months, give or take, between games. That's obviously really difficult, but there's, with the expansion and, some other things, different local markets, the sale of the Rush here, there's been news that's happened that's kind of kept the NLL in people's minds. The league has done a really good job over the last few years of maintaining a really strong presence on social media, really engaging with fans during the off season, even when it hasn't been a pandemic. I think a lot of that is going to bear some fruit. There's the excitement of all these other new teams that are still quite new, and their fan bases that are still kind of growing as we go. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think, I was talking with some people last week about how we were all kind of wringing our hands last fall about, how many fans are going to want to come back to games and what's it going to be like at that point. And all I've heard from teams, and it's not just one team or two, every team I talk to that's now gearing up to get back onto the ice or the court or the field or whatever, they're just getting flooded with people calling. Like, it doesn't seem like there's very much at all of the sort of hesitant group. Now, I'm sure there are some, but I don't know if it's going to be that significant as we maybe originally feared. I think perhaps the length of this pandemic is actually, it's come back around almost. And now people are so starved that maybe if they were on the fence before, they're like, you know what, it's been a long time. I've got my shots. I am ready to go. So I think we're going to see a big crowd back in Rush Nation. I mean, that probably goes without saying, but it is still the big question mark, and we won't find out for a few more months.
Great answer, by the way. And you're right. Nobody knew how we were going to come out of this, but they've really missed their Rush, and they've missed their Rattlers, too. I was following your Twitter feed last night. I watched Saturday's game on CBC Gem. I didn't catch last night's game, but the Rattlers are 0-2. CEBL's playing so far. They've come off without a hitch, Ryan. We're not even a week into the regular season yet, but so far, so good.
It's pretty great. The CEBL, you got to be so impressed with what they've been able to do, right? Like, going back to last year, this is a league that had completed one season. They're still just trying to fight for relevance and attention. And not only did they play last summer, when almost nobody else did, but they managed to complete a season, albeit a shortened, condensed one in a bubble, a tournament format, but they got it done. They stayed in people's minds as an existing league. That was huge. But for them, it was so vital that they be back in the local markets this year. Like, there's no way that they could go 2 years after just one without having any games in local markets. And the fact that restrictions are starting to lift now is a big thing as well. The Rattlers were able to have 150 vaccine clinic workers on hand last night to kind of thank them for their work, their service. And by July 12th, their third or their fourth home game of the season, they're going to be full, unless anything changes, they're going to be able to welcome back fans with no restrictions. And that's absolutely massive. So a big cap tip to the CEBL, trying different things. They've got a new online platform now where you can subscribe to within the league, CEBL Plus, and get all the games, very reasonable rate. So fan accessibility is huge. And just being able to sell tickets again is going to be so critical for this league, because they're still expanding as well, right? The Ottawa Blackjacks joined last year. They finally get to play at home for the first time. And we're going to be looking at Montreal likely next year. So it's vital for the CEBL to have a good year this year. The Rattlers, tough start for them. They're dealing with several injuries at the guard position, so they're going to have to adjust on the fly. But tough game for them last night. A true Elam ending. They lose on the final basket, as sort of that ending is designed to do. Unfortunately, they came out on the wrong end. So we'll see how they do on Canada Day when they're out in Fraser Valley for Game 3.
Yeah, well, you can't beat the excitement. There's no doubt about that. Hey, last question. Chris Bird in Toronto wants to know, love the stacks of CDs. Ryan, do you have a typical musical genre to which you tend to gravitate?
Thanks for the question. You guys, you gave me the gears about my CDs last time, so I'm glad someone appreciates my throwback collection. You know what? I listen to pretty much everything. I actually host a radio show, a volunteer at CFCR 90.5 FM, the community radio station here in Saskatoon. I have for many years, off and on. I actually host a show Sunday nights, 11:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. You can listen online, cfcr.ca. So if you're interested in my musical taste, I suggest you tune in. It's called The Connection. And it's basically, there's a theme every week and all the music is connected. Last week, I had everything from Frank Sinatra to Donna Summer to more contemporary stuff, very, very like new rock, indie rock bands and that sort of thing. So you never know what you're going to get. So there's a little plug. Listen to The Connection on CFCR 90.5 FM, cfcr.ca.
How about that?
How
Learn
about
something.
that?
Learn something new every day. Ryan, next time let's chat CFL, because I always ran into you there at training camp, right? We've run out of time here, but lots to chat with you about. This has been great. So enjoy the summer, enjoy the sports. Keep up what you're doing, because I enjoy following all your stuff, and thanks for the time today.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. And congrats on the Montreal shows. That should be a lot of fun. So enjoy that. That is going to be an absolute circus. Have fun.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. Yeah. Ryan Flaherty joining us from Saskatoon, the television voice of the Saskatchewan Rush. Everybody's saying, are you nervous? No, they said, how are you feeling about going to Montreal? I'm like, I'm a little nervous about getting this all taken care of, but once we get that taken care of, we'll roll. Some of my old-time buddies going to come down and join us. Chris Knuckles Nyland. That's going to be great. Bobby Merrier is going to come on the show. Nate Thompson, some of the Habs alum that we're lining up. So, that's Thursday, Friday live from downtown Montreal. We got Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots coming up. Producer Clark's going to come out here and join us a little later, too. We got breaking news today. I won't make you wait through the break. The Buffalo Sabres have hired Don Granato as their new head coach today. They've removed the interim tag. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. It is Canada's daytime sports talk show, live on Game Plus television, and we'll be right back. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed. Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFC Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hey, we got all kinds of news coming down today. I mentioned the Buffalo Sabres have hired Don Granato as their new head coach. Notification, the Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to an 8-year, $41 million extension. How about that? The Nuge isn't going anywhere, avoiding free agency. A lot of people didn't think he was going to stick there. From Chris Johnston at Sportsnet, the Habs have asked the Quebec government for permission to increase attendance at Bell Centre to 10,500 for the Stanley Cup final and are awaiting a response. So that would be a bump from 3,500, obviously. And then when I talked about Thursday, Friday, we're doing the show live from downtown Montreal. Game Plus Television Network is sending us there. I mentioned some of the guests that are going to be coming on. And what did I say? Chris Knuckles Nyland, Nate Thompson, Bobby Marriott. That's me and Knuckles right there. You guys remember Chris Knuckles Nyland? That old Don Cherry Rock'em Sock'em. He played a video of Nyland, bruised knuckles, and Cherry said, "Look at them knuckles, folks. That's not from playing the piano." And as Craig Monroe has pointed out here, one of our viewers, where did it go? It slipped off my screen. Lots of rehab guys on the show in Montreal. It's good coverage and awareness for recovery and substance abuse. Hashtag GoHabsCo. You noticed all of us in addiction recovery that are going to be on these shows. Nate Thompson. Maybe we can drag Sopel up. He's one of us too. So let's go down to California now, and I appreciate Dan Moriarty, NHL Cool Shots, huge fan here. I missed the last time he was on. How you doing, Dano?
You were nice enough to allow me on with Clark. You were on vacation, and I was jealous of you being on vacation. But thanks for having me, and thanks for wearing the Tuesday blue. We have our uniform on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good to talk to you. Good to see you, Rod. This is great. Thank you.
Yes, it is. And like I say, huge fan here. And by the way, that week I was in a recovery coach academy. It was grueling. This ain't work. That's work. And you know how that is, Dan. And
I hear you.
So I got to ask you this. It's an all-Eastern Stanley Cup final, Tampa, Montreal. Is it getting some play out there where you are?
No, it's not at all. And I, being in Southern California, Rod, and back in the day, I was on Fox Sports Radio nationwide. And the biggest markets we always had were the same thing. It was always Detroit, Chicago, Boston, New York. When it came to the West Coast, being in LA, Anaheim, San Jose, unless they were in the playoffs themselves, in the Stanley Cup, then the numbers would accentuate. But in the big picture, they just don't get them, Rod. It's unfortunate. I do believe that the expansion in Seattle is going to help the West Coast an awful lot with the Ultimate Pacific, because you have more rivalries out here, and that will get more things going because Seattle's a great sports city, as we know. In the States, that's going to help. But as far as the numbers here, no. The Clippers are in the NBA Final Four, so that's what's getting all the publicity out here, Rod.
Well, I appreciate the honest answer, because my Eastern friends are like, why are we starting these games at 8? Nobody's watching out west. So it makes sense, right? What's your take on this?
It does.
Yeah, what's your take on this finals series matchup?
My take is this: when we were getting into the first couple rounds, we all can agree that the Avs Vegas was the most exciting end-to-end action in the NHL playoffs so far. I saw going forward Vegas bringing that game to play Tampa for the Stanley Cup. I love the Montreal story. I was a Montreal fan as a little kid. Grew up in Boston. My Boston friends hated me because I was a Montreal guy, because I love Jean Beliveau. However, the story's great, but what I feared going through when Vegas couldn't figure out Montreal and the way they were boxing between the blue lines and slowing them down, I feared this might happen. Because when you look at Tampa from last year to this year, they have stars at every single position. When your fourth line has Tyler Johnson on it, who's a top 6 forward on any other team in the NHL, I look and say, yeah, he's a fourth liner. Sorry, I just don't. I fear that we may have a 5-game series. And I'd love to be wrong because no one likes hockey like people like us. I want to see 7 games. Rod, I just don't see it happening. After what I saw last night, that Tampa went to the net. Tampa got in Carey Price's face. Tampa was not putting up with the 4 behemoths on defense. All guys who are 6'3", 225, who shut everybody else down. Tampa was having none of it. And they were blowing by them between the blue lines. And that's where the speed came in of Tampa. And again, Tyler Johnson, fourth line. Come on.
Yes. Spokane, Washington kid. Spokane, Washington kid. Tyler Johnson. And
could be in Seattle next year.
How about that? That would be perfect for them if they did that, by the way. But they made Montreal look bad last night. And I said God was on Montreal's side clearly in the Vegas series, but like last night, God must have been busy because he didn't show up. They're saying now that Carey Price was hurt last night, that he took a shot in the collarbone. I don't know, man. You better figure out a way to win without this guy. But Dan, listen, beyond all of that, I just heard this weekend from a hockey buddy of mine, and I'll say his name, Jared Dumba, part of the famous Dumba hockey family. He said this is the first year that there's more American kids playing hockey than Canadian. And you've seen this.
I believe.
Yeah, what do you think when you hear that?
Well, what I think is that the game is no longer being played as where I grew up back east on a frozen pond or my dad's backyard freezing the whole thing. There's more arenas around, more rinks around, and if you play in the Sun Belt, Austin Matthews, you can be a top pick and you can be an NHL player. I go back to the days, Rod, when I was out here working with the NHL, and Brian Burke was the GM of Anaheim. I remember him saying to me and to all of us, there's athletes in Southern California. We just got to get them on the ice, get them away from playing football, baseball, and basketball, put them in the ice. You're going to find athletes. Well, guess what? We're finding athletes. Once you get them on the ice and give them the exposure, your great athletes will play this great sport. They just need to have access to it. And because of the numbers of people south of the 48th parallel with you guys, there's a ton of places to play. I mean, look at the kids from Texas and Florida and Arizona and California who are all in the National Hockey League now, and they're growing exponentially. So yes, we are getting more and more and more of them. I believe, Rod, correct me if I'm wrong, we are still number 2 as far as percentages of players league-wide, but we're growing. And there comes a time when you see the U18s, the U19s, the World Juniors, the U.S. team is there to stay every single time.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing for hockey. I just want to see the best players play. And you're going to see more Canadians perhaps have angst about it, because if the U.S. continues to grow, it's going to take away jobs, because everyone in Canada plays hockey.
Well, it's
everyone.
It's a numbers thing, and let's not go down the World Juniors road. But I look at Zegras, Caulfield. I mean, that's like, listen, I get it. I'm like you, though. I just want the best hockey. I want opportunities for everybody, and trust me, if it's a population thing, that's the way that it goes. But you just mentioned, and by the way, all those kids playing now were born in the 2000s in terms of junior players, and I'm a junior hockey guy. There's like 4 or 5 guys on my team, the Regina Pats, God's team, that are from Sunbelt. Yeah. And everybody loves that, by the way, when I say that. But hockey's growing in the United States. So is there a day coming that a Montreal-Tampa series would grab people's interest on the West Coast, or is it going to take, what's it going to take?
No. What's going to take, Rod, is more people knowing the game. What we have now with the new contracts for TV with the ESPN conglomerate and then TBS, TSN, that's going to get more eyeballs into it. Hopefully you're going to have more personalities talking, such as Wayne Gretzky's been hired down here. Mark Messier's been hired down here. Hopefully the guys like that who are the icons, who have personalities, will talk. Maybe they'll get Jeremy Roenick back on TV where he belongs. Because people want to see characters. The NBA is such. There's a reason that Charles Barkley is still one of the biggest names in the NBA in the States. Now, he hasn't played in a long time, but he's a personality. People want to be entertained and learn about it. The difference is when you live in Canada, you grew up playing hockey of some sort. You're skating, so you get the idea of what the physicality of the game is. I've been in the States for so long, my whole life, working in sports many, many years, and the guys who I've dealt with, the girls I've dealt with, who didn't play hockey, they don't understand the intricacy of playing the sport of hockey, that it's two sports in one. One, you've got to skate. That's itself its own sport. Two, you got to play hockey, because if you can't skate, you can't get from point A to point B where the puck is, and it's a very frustrating sport. You can play soccer running around. You can play basketball running around, football, baseball running around. But you can't play hockey unless you know two sports in one. And all my days, Rod, when I was on the radio, I used to tell people, you don't understand how big hockey is to the Canadian culture. There's a hockey player on their $5 bill. Hey, come on, people. And we all think in the States, oh, baseball, basketball, football are big sports, and they are. But as far as percentages, hockey is bigger in Canada than all three of those sports combined are down here in the States. And people just don't get it.
Yeah.
I've tried to educate them. And the more they watch it, the more fans get turned on, because when you see a hockey game in person, even if you don't know how to play it, you are turned down by the speed, the tenacity, the beauty. It's so many things in one, Rod, because our athletes, and I know we're biased, they're by far the best all-around athletes of any sport. And they are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Absolutely. But here, this is great. And thanks for that commercial, by the way, for Canadian hockey. From C. But here's it. You started something, Dan, from C. Walker on YouTube regarding the USA Under-18 program, and I'll throw in Under-20. Let's put all the best Canadian players on one team and let them play together for a year. We destroy all. You kick the hornet's nest, Dan.
I don't mind doing that. I like kicking hornet's nest because I like people get involved and get passionate. You go back to the U.S. We became good when we got our program together in the Midwest, and we brought all the best players in when they were 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it was, and that's how we built our program down here. And when your best players get to play for all those years together, and look at the guy, look at some of the kids you have down here now, and whether they've gone through our junior program or they play university, some guy named Cole Caulfield, Jonathan Taves, there's a number of them have gone through and played a year or 2 or 3 years, and Killorn played 4 years at Harvard. So we have these guys now that are getting the hours in, they're getting the time in, and they're getting mature playing down here in the U.S. system. And by the time they get to the NHL, they're more prepared to come out and play with the best of the best. And that's what's happening here. And you're seeing more kids also, Rod, that do come to the university system in America, because I've talked to many GMs about this. They said, look, Sidney Crosby comes along once in a generation. Nathan McKinnon, once in a generation. We only have so many guys who can be in the NHL at 18 years old. But you get these kids that come in, whether they're U.S. or Canadians or European kids, and they come in and they play a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of college hockey. When they get to my team, they can live in their apartment by themselves. I don't have to worry about them. They've been on their own already, and they're much more mature coming into my locker room as 22, 23-year-old rookies as opposed to 18, 19-year-old kids. It's been a big thing, this university system that's helped the NHL, and that's going to get more American kids involved in hockey because they see an outlet there. If I can get a scholarship to go play college hockey, get an education for free, this is a win-win. And this is something that parents are talking about, and youth programs are talking about, and that's going to help a lot more kids play more hockey. And ultimately, hopefully, for people like you and me, it'll make our sport more accessible and more enjoyed by more people. Because you and I, we're going to watch the game no matter what. You and I we're in.
I was just going to say,
more people to watch it.
Isn't this fun to talk about?
Yeah, this is I didn't sleep last night knowing that I'd be on the radio with you this morning. I was
yeah. I bet.
But I'm a kid talking hockey because I just love this sport so much. It's been everything to me. My first winter memory, I'm sure, is similar to yours. Being in the ice someplace, on a pond or in the backyard. You think back to being 3-4 years old. So I got skating. It's like, yeah, I recall that pretty vividly at my age now, because that was just something that we were so lucky to have done, and I wish others would be as lucky. That's why talking hockey is everything, Rod. It's everything.
It is.
Now, Can the finals go longer than 4 games?
They'd better. Fix it. Fix it, Gary. But listen, I can't let you go without talking about NHL Cool Shots for 60 seconds. Was it life-changing for you? Because it was for me, man. I never missed an episode, by the way. Yeah, I loved it. Obviously, you did too.
You know, you're in the sports business, so when you're in our business and you have a TV show that lasts for 8 years, it's a pretty good run. I was very lucky to have that 8-year run. And yes, was it life-changing? Of course, because it was a great job that I did for those 8 years, and I was around hockey, the sport that I love. And then, of course, what Clark and I mentioned last time I was on when you were away, that one shift when I got to play with the Minnesota Wild. And come on. I'm a guy doing a TV show who can skate well enough to not injure myself and hopefully not hurt them. But I got to live out all of our fantasies as hockey players, because when you're out there on the ice with the best of the best in the world, you know how special they are. And to be there with them on the ice, abusing me and just taking me to the woodshed as they did, it was just a great experience to live through, to experience, and then to share with all of us guys and girls who are never going to be in the NHL. It was just a special time. So yeah, it's a highlight of my life and always will be. And thank you for bringing it up.
Well, you know what just dawned on me was the era that was. Dan, they'd never allow that now. There's no way they would ever allow that now.
No, they would not. And in fact, it's funny because the Minnesota Wild just had their 20th anniversary in 2020. And it made me think back to 20 years ago, because it was their inaugural season, which is why they allowed us to do it, to get publicity for the team. They wanted to find a way, more eyeballs. And so the day I was in the NHL, the one day, I wore number 40, because at that day, I was 40 years old. And for that day, I was the oldest guy in the NHL.
Well, you haven't aged a bit. Dan, we are out of time.
No, I've aged a lot, but thank you.
Yeah, this has not disappointed. I appreciate the time. Everybody give him a follow on Twitter. Dan Moriarty, communications coach now. He's got his finger in a lot of things. And let's do it again soon, my man. I appreciate it.
I look forward to it. Thanks for asking me on. I'll do it whenever you want me. I'm here for you, man.
Appreciate it. The great Dan Moriarty joining us from Southern Cali here today. Listen, we're a little late for a break. We'll be right back with a sports update. Producer Clark is going to come out of his cage and join us for the rest of the show.
How about that?
You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports talk radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I back the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade and Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Capital GMC, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital GMC, we'll buy it.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we got a special guest in here. The third Sedin.
Hey, I need to lose like 60 pounds in order to be called.
Producer Clark, the third Sedin, joins us here in the bunker. Mandy in Edmonton says Producer Clark is coming on. That's something new and a treat.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. We got things to talk about with Clark. A lot, actually. Some business to take care of. But a sports update. We've got two breaking news items today. The Buffalo Sabres have hired Don Granato as their new head coach. Granato had been the interim head coach after replacing Ralph Kruger behind the bench last year. After losing 22 of 28 games under Kruger, the Sabres won 9 of their final 28 with Granato at the helm and rallied to win 3 times when trailing after 2 periods. This is Granato's first NHL head coaching job after assistant coaching stints with Buffalo, Chicago, and St. Louis. The Edmonton Oilers, meanwhile, have signed center Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to an 8-year extension with an average annual value of $5.125 million. The native of Burnaby, BC, had 16 goals, 19 helpers in 52 games this year. The first overall pick by the Oilers in 2011 is 10th all-time in Oilers scoring. I would have never have believed that.
Yeah, well, longevity does that.
I guess, right? 478 points. For sure. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, back in the 80s, even the 90s, there's a lot of guys that were there a long time, but yeah. Good for the Nooch.
Great for the Nooch. And, it's interesting. We've been talking about this next wave of contracts, me and Max on the Squadcast. Subtle plug. But we were talking about how these really good players are probably going to have to take, pay cuts, quote unquote pay cuts. Because, in a normal year, Nugent-Hopkins is probably worth $7 million, and he just took a $5 million contract, essentially. So that's huge for the Oilers. It's going to give them a lot of flexibility going into the offseason. So it'll be interesting.
The Toronto Blue Jays returned to the field tonight after an off day. Toronto home in Buffalo for a 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners. Lefty Robbie Ray starts for Toronto. He's 5-3 with a 3.35 ERA. Toronto third in the American League East, 6.5 games behind front-running Boston. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks look to even things up in the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals tonight. Atlanta trails 2-1 heading into Game 4 against the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee's won the last 2 games in double digits after dropping the opener. And back to Major League Baseball for a second. Angels outfielder Mike Trout has been transferred to the 60-day injured list, ruling out his return until after the All-Star break. Trout was in a batting cage Monday for the first time since he strained his right calf on May 17th. Skipper Joe Madden says Trout's injury is more than 50% healed. The sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is the Stanley Cup final over? On Twitter, 59% saying no, it's not. Clark, how good are your eyes? Can you see what it says on the monitor?
Yeah,
over there?
when I get it up there. 74% say no on Facebook.
It's not over.
So, yeah, the heavy consensus is it's no. And as a Leafs fan, whose team had a 3-1 lead against these Montreal Canadiens at one point in these godforsaken playoffs, I'll vote no as well. Just having seen it firsthand, Montreal can do a lot of special things this offseason, or this postseason.
Well, the news on Carey Price is disturbing.
Yeah, and Shea Weber got fined today as well, which I guess doesn't affect his game status.
Yeah.
But I think they're dealing with a lot, because I also heard that Brendan Gallagher was kind of day-to-day potentially. Sounds like he's going to be available to play, but he might not be 100%. So they're battling right now. And Tampa's got a lot of depth to fight that. So,
well, we're taking care of a lot of business here. And Come On Official is the official betting partner of the Rod Pedersen Show. And they've got odds on the Conn Smythe winner. This is for the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And guys, I believe we have a graphic there. There we go. Clark, what are we thinking here? It's a tiny monitor, isn't it?
Yeah.
They got Vazzy. They've got Kucherov. They've got Braden Point, Carey Price, Victor Hedman. There's all Lightning and one Hab.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm seeing.
They've got the Stanley Cup odds on the top there, too, and you barely win anything if you pick the Lightning at this point. This is updated as of today, as is after Game 1. So the Lightning they're basically giving it to the Lightning right now. So voting for betting on the Habs right now, if you're a gambling person, you might get a return if it pays off. But look, the Conn Smythe, I think it's hilarious that Carey Price is the only Montreal Canadian on the entire list. Because I think the last I checked, Tampa Bay had 5 of the top 6 scorers in the NHL playoffs so far this season. So, they're doing pretty good.
The Habs better start playing. Those are long odds for them to win the Stanley Cup, as you can see from our friends at Come On Official. Put a bet down. ComeOn.com or download the app. Beginners can play for free initially. But Montreal better start playing. I swear, coming out of the Vegas series, that I thought Cole Caulfield might have a shot at the Conn Smythe.
Well,
didn't do much last night.
If he has a big few games here, he's leading the Habs in goal scoring. So if he has a couple of games where maybe he pots 1 or 2 a game, he could very well get the Conn Smythe. He could be that X factor that they need really badly, because last night they just got outplayed in every single category.
Chris Bird, watching in Toronto, says, I like the Conn Smythe odds for the field. You're saying none of the above, which...
Yeah,
there's a chance of that. We got how many games left in this series, man?
There is a chance. The only way I can see the field winning is if it's Caulfield or one of the Canadians, because all the guys that have odds for the Lightning are the guys who would win it. Kucherov and Point, like those Vasilevsky, those 3 guys, I think you have to think they would win. So if you're betting on the field, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with that.
We're going to break and have more with producer Clark when we come back in overtime. So anything you want to discuss, a lot of people wanted to get the CFL discussion going today. There is a lot of news there. Stanley Cup final day off today. The Blue Jays making a trade today, getting some bullpen help. We should address that. So lots to talk about in overtime. You're watching on Game Plus TV network. Live streaming on YouTube and Facebook daily, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics, Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
At Capital Ford Lincoln, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital Ford Lincoln, we'll buy it.
Stars, you are dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I back the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. And producer Clark is in the bunker, too, the third sitting. And, hey, we call this viewer takeover here in overtime. And Jen from the Four Seasons writes in. She says, have a great day, people. Well, we missed you last night at the Four Seasons, Jen. We missed you. They said we just missed you. We showed up at the Seattle Kraken fan club headquarters to watch Game 1 of the Stanley Cup final. But we didn't stay till it was over. After 2 periods, I'm like, this is over, guys. Let's go.
It was, a little out of hand.
They were all down. Habs got spanked 5-1. Brady writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaaS telemobility dealer. And Brady says, hey, Rod, answer to the poll question. Hell no. The poll question is this series over? He says, losing Game 1 isn't the end of the world. Go practice, make adjustments, and come back better in Game 2. Lots of hockey yet to be played. That's from Brady. From the 222, Paul the Bomber fan says, hi, Rod, just for the record, I will never, all caps, cheer for the Montreal Canadiens. Even back in the 70s when they played that historic game against Russia, I didn't cheer for them. I'm glad it ended in a tie.
There you go.
Paul, the Bomber fan. Well, we don't talk enough baseball here. Clark is a baseball guy.
I dabble.
The Toronto Blue Jays acquired injured outfielder Corey Dickerson and reliever Adam Simber in a trade today with the Miami Marlins. Miami obtained infielder Joe Panik and minor league reliever Andrew McInvale in the deal. Dickerson sidelined with a bruised left foot, supposed to be out 2 more weeks. The sidewinding Simber has a 2.88 ERA in 33 games, and we all remember Joe Panik for being the guy that Ross Stripling lost his mind on a couple of weeks ago.
Tore a strip off him, you might say.
Panik was batting .246 with 2 homers and 11 RBI, and that's why I was glad I was watching the Blue Jays game on whenever they were in Miami, middle of last week, because I caught that side arming. Was that what they call it now? Sidewinding? They've changed all the names of everything?
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of names. You can call it whatever you want, really.
Well, it reminded me of
Submariner.
Submariner, exactly.
Yeah.
And so this trade looks good to me. Any bullpen help will help this Blue Jays team. You're bullish on this trade. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it's great. It's going to be huge. Simber is going to come in and basically be a specialist who's going to be able to set up some of their other relievers really well. Again, just with that release point that he has, he's really difficult to hit, especially for left-handed hitters, is what I was hearing. So it'll be interesting to see how he kind of fits into the bullpen. Big addition. He's got one of the lowest ERAs in the MLB in terms of relievers. So, and he's super cheap as well, which is always helpful in the MLB. And Dickerson, he's a left-handed bat, which the Jays just don't have many of, and that's an underrated thing in terms of all this trade because basically, Bichette, Gurriel, Springer, Guerrero, go down the list. Everybody's a right-handed bat. So when you get into a big, power-throwing right-handed pitcher and all you got is right-handed bats, it can be a little difficult sometimes. So this just allows them to play a little bit better in terms of matchups. And baseball's all about matchups these days. So Dickerson will come in once he's healthy and, be a really good bat in the lineup. And he's not bad defensively either.
So that's the analysis of the Blue Jays trade. And by the way, sports on tap tonight for the Tap Brew House and drive-through liquor store. The Blue Jays are home. They open a midweek set against the Seattle Mariners. 5:07 Mountain first pitch at Buffalo Salem Field. And in the NBA tonight, it's the Bucks and the Hawks. The Bucks lead 2-1. That's a 6:30 p.m. Mountain first tip there in the NBA. I was a little surprised. Actually quite surprised, Clark, at the poll question results the other day when I said, are you following the NBA playoffs? What was it? Like close to 70% said no.
I think 60 to 65% about were saying no, and it was higher than that. So we got some late votes, I think, that pulled it down. But I got to say, I haven't watched much of it either. So.
Well, because the Stanley Cup's been on every night, which I get. But there isn't tonight.
No.
So Les Peach watching says, great addition to the bullpen and a good left-handed bat, but it just plugs up the outfield situation even more.
Not a bad thing.
Mandy says, Clark needs to be asked about a CFL topic. I've never seen him talk about it. Well, we could do that, but I suggest in the 2 minutes that we have left, I think you should explain to the viewers what's going to happen because it's going to be a gong show over the next few days here.
Yeah, well, these guys decided to go to Montreal midweek, so it's a great thing. It's going to be exciting. Tomorrow and Monday, we have a guest host. Kelly the Silver Fox Rempel is going to be sitting over there. Kelly did a great job that other time he hosted the show. So tomorrow is going to be a big day, a lot of big name guests, and Kelly's going to be sitting in Rod's chair. We're going to have our guest co-host, instead of Darren, it's going to be Peter Loubardias calling in for the entire show. So Silver Fox and Peter Loubardias, good longtime friends. You know them, Rod. Obviously, they've been friends a long time. So they're going to be co-hosting the show together. Our guests are going to be Theo Fleury, Alan Miller, who's now with Hockey Canada. He's not with the Moose Jaw Warriors anymore. And Michael Babcock. I don't know if anybody's heard of this guy. He's an up-and-coming hocky analyst. I don't know if anyone's heard of him, but Mike
up-and-coming
Babcock.
coach. He's a university hockey coach,
Yes.
I heard.
Yeah, he's just broke into the university ranks. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a great show, a lot of fun. You guys will be in Montreal Thursday, Friday for live shows. I think you mentioned that.
Yep.
You're working on guests. It's going to be a bunch of live guests. It's going to be great. We'll see. I'm actually curious to see who all pops in over the next couple of days. With
As
you
am
guys.
I.
As are you. And then Monday again, Rempel will be here as they're on a travel day. So Remp will be in. We'll announce those guests as we go. But you guys are actually going to appear. I don't know if you know that yet, Rod, but you're going to be on the show on Monday.
Oh, I would hope.
So there you go. So it's going to be a crazy next couple of days.
It is, but I got to thank the guys at Game Plus TV. They were the genesis for it, saying, hey, do you want to go to Montreal? And
here we are.
Bob's your uncle. Here we are. And actually, speaking of Bob Merrier is my guy. Sober coach to the stars. You've heard me been talking about him for the last couple of years on this show. He is lining up all of his Habs buddies, and they'll be joining us live on the set. For those that watched our shows in Houston, and you remember that because I think you produced it from back here.
Yeah,
It was the same idea. It's just round table, what we always wanted it to be, the view for sports fans.
Here we go.
Daytime from Montreal, downtown, ahead of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, and who knows what the series will be by then. So I guess I'm out of here, Clark.
Yes.
I'm out of here. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see you in the next week.
Yeah, thanks for taking over the Access show as well. I would get to all your comments, but we are out of time. Remps will be in this chair, the Silver Fox. We'll talk to you from Montreal on Thursday here on Game Plus. You screwed up, Clark.